So Hikaru, with 1 minute and 30 seconds on the clock. In this position, sacrifices. The rook! Rook takes e6! The best move! The only move! Rook takes e6. I'm gonna put a brilliant sticker on it. Rook takes e6. A spectacular defensive counter shot. He defends his own rook, and the point is, it's actually really bad if you take it with the bishop because you lose the defense of e2. And now rook g1, king g1, and knight e2 is a crusher. You can't get off the back rank. Anywhere you go here, the queen slides in, and it's mate. It's mate in a couple of moves. Queen d1, queen g3, queen g1, and queen g2. And you simply lose the game. So rook takes e6, a spectacular move. The bishop has to protect. How Hikaru saw this, he played this move with 1 minute remaining on the clock, and here's the craziest part about the position. It's still not over. Rook takes g6, played by Magnus. He doesn't blunder. Rook g6, queen b7. White's king without a move. Black's king without a move. King to f6. And in this position, I mean, what do you play? This king is about to go for a jog. I'm not even exaggerating. Queen f7 is played, and that's not a good move. Hikaru is now winning. King to g5, can you believe it? The king has gone for a complete turnaround here. King g5. Queen takes h7. And Hikaru here with 40 seconds on the clock can play a devastating move which absolutely kills the game. And that move, whether he saw it or not, is rook h6. Forcing all the pieces off the board. If queen g7 is played, you take the rook. Maybe he missed that. Maybe that was what was missed. Rook h6 is a full trade, after which you play knight f5. Maybe he missed knight f5. Or maybe, I don't know. I think knight e2 is also good, but never mind. You have to play knight f5, apparently. Knight f5, bishop here, king g... Okay, well, this is... It's hard to see that, but the only winning... And apparently this is a winning endgame because you're just up and you're too active and you're going to promote. So... And white is going to have to lose the bishop. So queen h7, the only winning move is rook h6. Instead, Hikaru plays knight to f5. Now it's a draw. The rook is hanging. Queen d1 is a threat, though. Rook h5 played. King f4! What? The king is on f4! Bishop f1, Magnus playing defense. The position is hanging on a knife's edge because of mutually assured destruction. Basically, black cannot play a move like queen d1. Actually, probably can, because after queen g6, it's a draw. So both players here hang on a knife's edge, and the position is just like they're both stuck. There's nothing they can do, you know? And we get, in the game, rook g5 with 30 seconds on the clock. Rook g5, king g5. Magnus is now up a minute. Let's keep in mind there's no bonus time. He darts over here. Hikaru's centralizing the queen. And in this position, under the threat of mutually assured destruction, king g1 was played. And with 28 seconds on his clock, Hikaru shuffled back and forth. And the players breathed a sigh of relief and a draw. That was chaos. Absolute cinema. A black king walking forward with his troops. King g5 possible, right? Defending himself, rook g5, then launching a counterattack. Sacrificing his rook with rook g3. Just insane stuff. Magnus had to find bishop d3. He missed it. And then rook g1, counter-sacrifice. Another rook sacrifice on e6. Hikaru was sacrificing both rooks. And Magnus had to be super careful. And then the black king after that walked out to g5, and he was winning, but it was really weird. I'm not really sure this qualifies as a win with 40 seconds on the clock. And because both players are so close to getting mated here, the best that can happen is they protect their kings, they don't attack, and the game ends in a draw. Look, the only move. White is lost. Except for one move. And therefore, white is not lost. Rook h1. Counterattack on the queen. And the queen, in this position, has to go backwards. It has to go to e8. And somehow black is still better. But then white would continue to generate an attack over here. Magnus at this point either panicked because he got hit with rook h1 and he's only got 25 seconds, or he saw rook h1 and then sacrificed his queen to play knight f4 check and win the rook. And, you know, he's got pressure here. He's attacking the queen. Maybe he still thought he was pressuring, but Hikaru's now better. If he plays queen g4, he doesn't. Oh, he does play queen g4. I'm sorry. Knight to f4. And now the only winning move for Hikaru is to walk his king into the middle of the board. It's really hard to do that when you have a queen, knight, and rook. You have all these pieces. Why would you even touch your king? Which is what, you know, he brings his rook, and that's the wrong move. It's the wrong move because he blunders. He blunders, rook takes g5. A move that cannot be taken. If you take, it's so nasty. I play knight to h3. If you take, I play knight h3. You take it, and then I play knight to e4. The point is that the queen is under fire from both of the knights, and there's a pin on this pawn from the rooks. I mean, to even see this, Magnus plays this move 6 seconds. You got 10 seconds remaining. Rook takes g5. The only move now from Hikaru not to lose the game is to dart the queen into the black position, trying to hunt down some pawns, and always looking for opportunities to attack the king. Magnus plays rook to g2 check, king to e1, and now he has to play knight. I'm sorry. Yeah, I think he played knight takes f3 in this position, losing his knight. He loses the knight, then he plays knight to d3 and here, and this is actually a draw if he plays knight f2 and takes the rook. Now, for whatever reason, he didn't do that. Maybe he thought that Hikaru's king was going to run away and then he was going to be, you know, crazy things happen with 5 seconds on the clock. But knight f2 is still equal, but Magnus goes here. And the reason why this is losing is because it's check, block, check. Here, where's the win? Where's the win, right? The knight is threatening still. The rook is threatening the knight. But Hikaru finds the touch of death. He sacrifices the rook. And the king is forced to take. The queen comes back to fork the king and the rook. And white wins. To protect. But first, Magnus Carlsen plays a super grandmaster move, okay? In all parts of a chess game, a player establishes their skill level, and it shows you why they're not 1600, and he finds this very nice strategic pawn break d4. Here's what this does. If Hikaru takes, he now has doubled isolated pawns on the d-file. This will get taken, the rook will come and eat everything, and you've lost a partner for the f-pawn. See, Hikaru wants his pawns to march together, okay? He wants to keep them together. Magnus is interested in splitting the pawns apart. He's like a bad in-law, okay? So rook f6, d5, and now Hikaru goes to trade the bishop. Why does he trade the bishop? His bishop is super strong. e4, f4, knight g6 is on the cards. Magnus turns his attention to the queen side. Rook a8, and now, oh, c5! The Three Musketeers, they're all ready to go. Very tense moment in the game. If dc5, d6, pawn break activates, everything is falling apart. Hikaru here had to play the move e4. He had to go e4 here to kick the queen out before he took. It's still total chaos. Instead, he played a4, and Magnus says, you can have my knight. You can have my knight, because now I have doubled together connected pawns. They're not double pawns. They're connected, protected pass pawns walking down the side of the board. And it was in this position that Hikaru decided to create a blockade. Now queen d3. I barely spoke English there. Queen d3, if you take, there's this. And ladies and gentlemen, tragedy struck here. Hikaru played the move rook b8. He should have played maybe rook back to f8, for example. It's still a very tough position. He played rook b8. Because after rook a4, queen b5, he had calculated that after the queen trade, queen takes b5, rook takes b5, that this attack followed by c7 isn't winning for Magnus. And he was right, but he missed something. Hikaru missed the fact he can't take on b5 at all because of the absolutely stunning c7. Sacking the queen to make a new queen and take a rook. And if queen takes knight, one of the most savage moves I've ever seen in my life, rook a8. To deflect the queen away, to deflect the rook away from the queen. Because if you just take the rook, I go back. Rook a8. So Hikaru was obviously very frustrated with himself when he talked to us after the game. Said, you know, he felt like he should have seen this, and he also should have played e4 instead of a4. But that's chess, my friends. That's chess. And so Magnus, a few moves later, took on a4 and just sacrificed the rook, killing the last hope of Hikaru's counterplay on the f-file. And now Magnus converts in very nice fashion by getting the queens off the board. Hikaru resigned here because even though he can trade the queens, he can't stop the pawns.